News at 5 starts now.
With only hours to go before a potential auto workers walkout, the future of a now quiet local factory hangs in the balance. Belvidere's mayor looks at the impact restarting the assembly line could have on our economy.
A nationally recognized Rockford museum announces a partnership with an aerospace giant. Organizers say the new exhibit will benefit both kids and their parents.
And it's harvest season for many farmers in the Stateline. We'll hear from the owner of a local orchard on how the drought has affected his apples. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. The local UAW's president is hopeful the idled Stellantis plant in Belvidere could reopen as part of contract negotiations between auto workers and the big three U.S. car companies. He told us earlier this week it's all about product. A strike deadline's about 6 hours away.
So what's next for the Stateline? Our Nikel Delgado talked with Belvidere's mayor. Nikel, what do you have to say?
Well, Eric and Mimi, Mayor Morris tells me these contract negotiations are on everybody's mind, but he's optimistic there will once again be an auto manufacturer in the city.
This is a huge industry here and a huge economic part of our engine. You know, this is a driver for our engine, and we want to keep it. We want to keep it here in Belvidere. I know I do.
Belvidere Stellantis plant was one of the biggest employers in Boone County and the Stateline. The assembly lines went idle earlier this year. That affected hundreds of workers. Belvidere Mayor Clinton Morris tells me this isn't the first time the plant's gone quiet.
We have seen it before, maybe not to this extent where they've actually completely closed.
Mayor Morris stresses the Belvidere area still has all the same things that made Chrysler want to locate here in 1965.
I am optimistic because I think that, you know, we have a lot of things going for us that Stellantis will want. Geographically, we're in the central of the United States. We have rail service here. We have affordable water. We have reliable power.
It has been a challenging time for the people in Belvidere. The impact from the Stellantis plant shutdown is widespread.
It is something that affects the city. It certainly affects us with employment opportunity. It affects us with supplier employment opportunity. And it also affects us with being able to court other opportunities.
Mayor Morris hopes through these contract talks, both sides find common ground that will benefit all.
Now that they are actually finally negotiating, what's been out of our hands, it will now be in their hands. It'll be up to them to be able to come to an agreement. And I certainly think we've done everything possible that we could do on a local, especially on a local and state level.
Mayor Morris tells me the worst case scenario, if the deal doesn't go through, the plan is to find someone that will utilize the building, hopefully in the manufacturing industry. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Nikel. The city of Rockford caps off this year's plan to improve neighborhoods. Today, city crews were in the Broadway area as part of the Neighborhood Improvement Initiative. The plan brings resources into areas that have been negatively impacted by crime. A block party was also held for neighborhood residents. Mayor Tom McNamara says he's thankful for the city crews and citizens that helped these events happen.
They put in so much time and energy into all of these block parties, the organization of it, but well before the block parties, it's all the work that we're doing in the neighborhoods, from patching potholes, fixing streets, taking down homes. It's just an immense amount of work that our team does and organization does, and really proud of the team and really proud of the citizens who come out and want to be part of it and want a better, newer area for themselves and their neighbors.
Mayor McNamara says that improvements will continue to be made to neighborhoods like Broadway for years to come.
A Stateline aerospace manufacturer and a Rockford museum team up to educate future generations. The Discovery Center unveiled a new exhibit. It's called Makerspace. Collins Aerospace is a big part of making that happen. Kids will have access to tools, sewing kits, even a 3D printer. Discovery Center's executive director encourages parents to spend time with their children as the kids create.
It's sometimes nice for a mom or a dad or a grandma to see how the child is thinking and working with tools maybe they don't have exposure to anywhere else. Kind of see where their interests lie. If they like to sew, if they like to draw on paper and create graphs, if they like to use machines. All of those things I think are very telling to a parent, to the caregiver of a child.
There are also lockers within the exhibit so kids can leave their creation overnight and return to finish it. This isn't the first time Discovery Center has partnered with Collins on an exhibit.
The Golden Apple Foundation continues its annual effort to recognize local teachers. Today, Rockford University baseball players helped pack volunteers' cars full of apples. Schnucks donated more than 5,000 fresh golden apples. They were delivered to 150 schools in Winnebago and Boone counties. Golden Apple executives say they're appreciative of the connection teachers make with their students.
These are teachers who are dealing with literally perhaps hundreds of teenagers every day. I think about my own kids. Sometimes I felt like I wasn't connecting with them, but it gave me so much solace to know that they had a teacher who they connected with at school. So I look at these secondary level teachers and I just am so grateful because they have those relationships with these kids, and that's so important.
Nominations for the best 6th through 12th grade teachers in Boone and Winnebago counties are open. Eyewitness News is Golden Apple's official TV partner. You can find a link to the nomination form on mystateline.com. Those are due by October 12th. It's harvest season for many Stateline farmers.
But with this summer's drought, many people worry about the region's crop yield. Drea Baroni met with a local apple farmer. Drea, what's the situation at Curran's Orchard?
Mimi and Eric, apple picking season is in full swing from now till the end of October. You may notice your apples looking a bit smaller this year, but still tasting just as great, maybe even better. Local farmer Pat Curran told me what he has seen from his harvest so far.
There is no moisture to speak of. The flavor in the apples is intensified. You know, they've been stressed out. There's very little moisture in there, so when you bite into one, they crack. And they just blossom with flavor.
The extreme heat and drought this summer has caused the trees to produce a smaller but tastier fruit. The lack of moisture allows the sugar to be more concentrated, so the apple's flavors are sweeter. While Curran's Orchard has a flavorful harvest this season, they'll have to wait until next year to see the full effect the drought has on the trees. Eric?
Thanks, Drea. A Stateline fall staple opens for the season. Lindbergh Pumpkin Patch is ready for guests. The 7-acre property is home to plenty of activities like a corn maze and tractor rides. It's open from 9 in the morning until 6 in the evening every day. The season ends October 31st.
A Texas judge declares an Obama-era policy unlawful.
Coming up, the ruling focuses on how the program protecting certain immigrants was created.
A little bit of a chilly start out there this morning, but with the sunshine, it made for a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures back into the 70s, but we could see a few days next week where those numbers reach the 80s. More on that coming up in the First Horn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Scott Lever, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Yesterday, a federal judge declared the DACA program illegal. It protects migrants who were brought to the United States as children from deportation.
The ruling means while DACA protections remain in place for more than 500,000 people, no new applications will be allowed. Anna Warnicki looks at progress toward a permanent solution.
The pressure is building on Congress to take up immigration. On Wednesday, a federal judge in Texas ruled that the DACA program, which protects migrants who were brought to the United States as children from deportation, violates federal law. The ruling notes creating such a program is up to Congress.
Our job right here is to find solutions.
Illinois Democrat Delia Ramirez says Democrats want reform.
People want legal pathways. It is our responsibility to create those legal pathways, and I've told my colleagues before, I'm ready to work with you on that.
Ramirez says the Promise and Dream Act does just that. But House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Republicans are blocking any progress.
They have no interest in addressing our immigration system because they just want to play partisan political games.
Passing any immigration bill in Congress is going to be difficult because Republicans will only consider legislation that also includes border security. But Texas Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar says Congress can do both.
We have not had immigration reform for 37 years. It is long past time that there is compromise.
And Escobar says Wednesday's ruling shows Congress can't wait to act any longer.
The only way we're going to fix this is in a bipartisan way and that we get it done quickly.
In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
After a day that started out near 40 degrees, temperatures are set to warm up over the next few days.
Up next, we'll hear from Candace on the chances for rain during these dry conditions.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Lots of sunshine out here this afternoon. After a bit of a cooler start, we take a live look with our SkyTrack camera out in Freeport at the Park Hills Golf Course. This is brought to us by Rockford Career College. Temperature is climbing a good 30 degrees from where we started off at this morning in some locations. We're now up to 73 in Freeport. Same thing in Rockford, Monroe, 71 in Poplar Grove, and 71 degrees down in DeKalb. Our weather watcher Terry this last hour down in Genoa, 75. Dew point temperature at 50 and a light east wind at about 5 miles per hour. No rainfall today. Same story for our weather watcher Mike down in Forston. Said it was quite on the foggy side this morning. 73 the current temperature there in northwest Ogle County. Things are pretty quiet with high pressure over the Great Lakes, but we watch a cold front just to the northwest of us, and that'll swing through by tomorrow night into early Saturday, and then we've got another one coming in Saturday afternoon. So 2 chances for some showers, but the rainfall going into the weekend looks to stay a bit on the lighter side. No rain for us tonight as we maintain that mostly clear sky. It will be another cooler night as that temperature drops back into the 40s once again. Lots of sunshine going into tomorrow afternoon. Winds will turn to the southwest. We hold on to that dry air. So first we see an increase in cloud cover, and as a few showers try to work in from the northwest Friday night, they'll kind of die out a bit just as they encounter that dry air. So it will take a little time before we see some of those showers begin to move in. Right around sunrise on Saturday, a couple of lighter showers. Then we'll see some dry time going into the mid to late morning. Second cold front comes in. With that on Saturday, that brings us a slightly better chance for a shower, thunderstorm. Not looking at anything severe at this moment, but maybe a 40-45 mile per hour wind gust if we're able to maintain a stronger thunderstorm Saturday late afternoon and early evening. As far as things go for tonight, we've got light rain showers going into Saturday morning. Better chance for some thunderstorms come Saturday afternoon. We'll dry things out Saturday night, but cloud cover is expected to stick around Saturday night and then into the first half of Sunday. As I mentioned, those rainfall totals don't look to amount to much. 1/10 of an inch in some spots, at most maybe 1/4 of an inch coming in. And then we start to dry things out and warm things up as we head into the middle to end of next week. So 49, that's where we'll head here for the overnight underneath a mostly clear sky. A little on the chilly side, but not quite as cool as what we woke up to here this morning. A beautiful Friday afternoon, 77 degrees. Looks great for those Friday night football games. Back closer to where we should be, which is right around that 76-77 degrees. Temperatures then on Saturday will take a little dip. We're down to 74, 73 on Sunday, back down into the 40s though Sunday night, and then we warm things up. Ridge of high pressure builds in by the time we get into the middle to end of next week. Just a small chance for a shower, maybe a thunderstorm with that, but we've got a couple of days, guys, where those temperatures could reach the low 80s.
Kind of unusual to see temperatures that high this time of year. Thanks, Candace.
Scott's in next with sports.
Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getzey's already feeling the heat after only one game. Coach will tell us about one flaw from opening day he hopes to correct.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
The Bears' new coaching staff had job security last year, despite the Bears' 3-14 record. It's rare that a first-year coaching staff gets the boot. But now the heat is on, especially on offense coordinator Luke Getzey, for the offense's poor showing against the Packers. And Getzey says the first thing that he and the offense need to address is getting the ball to DJ Moore more than twice in a game.
When you have one of your best players, you want to make sure they're touching the ball, and how we plan each week is that way. There's a lot of reasons why things happen. You know what I mean? A protection that could have broke down for a particular play for him. Justin maybe just didn't see something. You know, we definitely are calling plays for DJ, and he knows that.
Getzey also said that Chase Claypool's poor blocking last Sunday wasn't due to a lack of effort, but a lack of execution. I'm not buying that. I didn't see much effort out of CC. The Packers offense was at its best last week when it was getting the football to Aaron Jones. So Jones' hamstring injury that he suffered is being closely monitored this week heading into their game with the Falcons. Jones did not practice today. Whether Jones plays or not Sunday, Matt LaFleur wants to see more from his run game this week He says he needs everyone on offense contributing toward that.
You always got to have everybody on the same page. You got to make sure you're targeted. You got to make sure that it's not just always the offensive lineman. A lot of times it could be the wideouts or tight ends, making sure they're going to their specific people. And there were too many times where we had, we didn't have all 11 on the same page.
Well, I got off to a slow start last week in my predictions, picking the Bears to beat the Packers, so let's give this another shot. And the Packers defeating the Falcons this week 24-17. The Packers will stay in a lot of games and win a lot of games this season with their defense, and that'll be the case Sunday. I don't think much of the Buccaneers, but I think less of the Bears right now, so I'm taking the Buccaneers over the Bears 28-24. The Bears offense will perk up against a Bucs defense that isn't as good as the Packers. And the Bears will get the ball more to DJ Moore. Plus, we'll see Justin Fields running with the ball more than last week. The heat could also work against the Bears in Tampa. The high temperature is expected to be 89 degrees. The Vikings will take the field tonight against the Eagles. That game, though, can only be seen on Prime Video. It's not being shown on network TV. The Cubs have tonight off. They'll open up a series in Arizona tomorrow night with Justin Steele going after his 17th win. And the Brewers beat the Marlins this afternoon, 4-2 the final. That increases the Brewers' lead over the Cubs to 4.5 games. That's sports. We'll be right back.
First warning interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Our skies will stay clear here as we go through the night tonight. We'll see that temperature dropping into the 40s, and maybe not dealing with as much fog as what we have the last couple of nights, but some low-lying areas could see some patchy fog tomorrow morning. Lots of sunshine again for the afternoon. A little more cloud cover by Friday evening as some moisture moves in ahead of a cold front. Highs back up around 77. There's a chance for a few showers early Saturday, and then again Saturday afternoon. The afternoon activity, we may see a little more with the chance for an isolated thunderstorm or two, but around a 1/10 to a 1/4 of an inch. And then temperatures dropping a little for the weekend, warming back up into next week.
Looking good. All right. Thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.